Welcome to the Pretty Powerful Podcast, where powerful women are interviewed every week to share real inspiring stories and incredible insight to help women or anyone break the barriers, be a part of innovation, shatter the glass ceiling, and dominate to the top of their sport, industry, or life's mission. Join us as we celebrate exceptional women and step into our power. And now, here's your host, Angela Gennari.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Pretty Powerful Podcast. My name is Angela Gennari, and today I am here with Mariam Chtchyan. Hi, Mariam. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So Mariam is the Chief Operations Officer at HackTech LLC and boasts over 7 years of project and delivery management expertise. With a proven track record of success across diverse industries, she has mastered the art of navigating agile methodologies and virtual management tools to deliver outstanding results. Her core competencies lie in problem solving, stakeholder management, team leadership, and ensuring unparalleled customer satisfaction. So thank you, Mariam. So welcome to the show. I'm really excited to talk to you. So what made you want to go into tech?
Well, actually, it happened very accidentally. Basically, what I was looking for was like English teacher, and I was just sending my CV randomly to some companies that had open vacancies, and I sent my CV to one of the companies that were looking for English specialist, and I was thinking that okay, probably I will just teach developers English or like make their practice. And when I came to interview, they were like, no, actually, it's not like you're going to teach them, you're going to work with them on different projects. And that's where basically everything started, me being in IT and becoming a project manager.
Okay, very cool. And you are Armenian, yes?
Correct.
All
Yes.
right, very nice. Do you work remote for different organizations throughout the world, or are you based in the US?
I am now in Yerevan, and I'm working in HackTech, as you mentioned. That is
Uh-huh.
a company who is providing engineering services to different companies and like partners.
Mm-hmm.
And we are working offline. We have great office. We just moved there like 2 months ago, but we also have a very flexible schedule. So anytime that I'm not feeling well or I need to stay with my son at home, I am allowed, or like I can open a request and stay just from the office at my
Oh,
home.
very nice. I love that. Well, and I think technology, one of the wonderful things about technology is it allowed us that flexibility to work from home or work remotely. So I think it
For
has done a great job of bringing the world a little bit closer.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, project management, that's something that, in the tech world can be a pretty robust ask. So you have a lot of things that you're managing all at one time. So how do you stay organized?
Oh, well, I think there are so many books about like how staying organized, how
Mm-hmm.
keep the attention. And I think it's all about learning the right way for you personally. Like every person, it's not something that is written in book and it should be dogma for everyone. It's something that you need to try on yourself to understand like how you should be concentrated and like how you can keep everything organized. So for me, it's definitely the prioritization, how I'm prioritizing the work and how I'm doing stuff on daily basis, and what's my plan for a month even, to understand, okay, this is what I need to do first, and this is what I should do next, and all that stuff.
Oh, very nice. So then how do you guide through, because a big part of project management is collaboration. So you have to get the buy-in of all the people that you're working with. So how do you do that?
Yeah, so the collaboration, I think, is based on the communication, like having very good communication skills and being able to speak in different languages, but not like
Mm-hmm.
language as it is, but like the way that you are speaking with different people, taking into account their mood, their motivation, what happened in their personal life, and all that stuff. So I think the base of the collaboration is definitely communication, and
Mm-hmm.
generally like um, doing stuff more personally, also like taking into account and considering that like the people that are in front of you are also your friends, not only like employees or like just the work partners. So I think it's all about how you are treating the people and yeah, basically being able to motivate them.
Okay, very nice. So, what made you want to, um, so with HackTech, you moved into this virtual management tool. Give me some of the methodologies that you use to do your job effectively.
Mhm. So, specifically for project management, what we are doing is well-known agile and the different methodologies that agile is including, like Kanban, Scrum, Scrumban, and those are the methods or like the styles that we are using when delivering projects. And I think right now, like most of the um, project managers are like they're preferring to have Scrumba, which is more flexible, and you are still like in those rules that you need to keep. So yeah, I think that's the main style that we are using.
Oh, very nice. All right. So very cool. So tell me a little bit more about so you got hired as a project manager and you did that for a while, but you then became the chief operating officer. Can you tell me about that transition and what led to that?
Yeah, sure. So it didn't happen in one day.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
took me 7 years, and basically it just happened very gradually. As I said, I was hired as a junior project manager, and later I was promoted to delivery manager, program manager, and after that only as a COO in HackTech. Everything happened very naturally, I think, and specifically like working in this company already over for 7 years. I think everyone saw me growing to that position
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, achieving to all the success that I now have.
Oh, very nice. Do you feel like it's harder for women, or do you think it's the same for women to try to get up to those chief roles, to the executive level roles in technology?
I I would say it's not easy.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to compare like female and male way of like achieving the
Mm-hmm.
success in career, but I think it's not easy. And I'm not saying it because of like inequality that there can be in the world, but also
Uh-huh.
because of the responsibilities that women generally have in their life. And also, like, it's not only about work, it's also about family, about kids, about husband, about all that routine that we are responsible for. I think
Right.
that's the main part that it's making it a bit more difficult for women to get to the success because it's not like, okay, I'm going to concentrate only on my career path because you still have other responsibilities and people are expecting you to be also mom, to be a good wife and all that stuff. So it's definitely not easy for women.
Yeah. Well, and I think that that's generally across the board everywhere that you go because I feel like, whether you're in Armenia or the United States, those expectations still exist. And that's one of the hardest things for women to do is commit those extra hours to getting promoted, to, climbing the ladder, to making sure that you've met all of your work obligations, but also balancing that with family life because that can be challenging for sure.
Definitely. Yes.
Because I think even in a dual income household, women generally have more responsibilities when it comes to the home. So that's definitely, you're carrying a huge workload at work and then also the majority of the workload at home as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yes.
think that that's across the board.
For
So
sure.
so in technology, where do you see things moving and where do you see the growth happening?
I think the like in the very, very like frequently the topic that we are usually discussing nowadays is AI.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And it's something that we are not escaping anywhere. So
Right.
definitely AI and like how it's happening and what kind of cause it can have on different spheres. And
Hmm.
specifically on tech sphere, I think that AI is now very, very like something that everyone is thinking about. Some people are afraid of it, some people are very excited. But I think that's the main topic that we are now discussing.
So where do you fall in that? Are you excited about it? Are you fearful of it?
I'm very excited about it actually. And
Yeah.
I mentioned this yesterday to one of my friends that it's not about that like you need to be afraid of AI or like generally everything that is related to it. It's more about having good knowledge of it to understand and be able to use it properly because I think that people that are afraid of it are mostly those people that don't have enough knowledge and
Hmm.
are not sure how to use it in their daily life or like in their work. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I can say, it has helped me tremendously is just in writing. So, there's
Mhm.
times where I have to put together a proposal or there's something that and you just get like mental block because I have 10 things going on and I think, okay, I have to write this, you know, introduction to my company or I have to write an ad for something and I'm not in advertising and it's too late and I've procrastinated too much. I can't hire anyone because I need it done yesterday. And so,
Yeah.
thankfully there's a lot of great AI tools out there that will help me when
Yes.
when I've procrastinated to the point where I can't hire an expert to come in. So
Mhm.
I think AI has really been a really great tool to use for people who don't generally have, a skill set of writing or creativity.
Mhm. Mhm. And even with having, I think it's more about like how you're using AI specifically. Like, if, let's bring the example of ChatGPT. It's something that like you should use for, as you mentioned, like for time saving and
Hmm.
making like the text better, but still keeping it personal when you're like just editing and putting your touches to it. So
Yeah.
it's just about like still staying human and keeping your text human as well. So yeah, I think it's just about personalizing it at the end, just not to copy and paste it somewhere. So
Yeah, yeah, and that's been a great use because sometimes I'll put a sentence in there and I'll say make this sound more professional or make this sound
exactly.
more elaborate and it will do a
Mhm.
great job of including synonyms, just little things that oh yeah, that's a
Yes.
great word. Or, oh, I hadn't thought about that. And so like I'll use the text that I wrote and I'm like just make this better. Make it sound more
Mhm.
professional. Make it sound
Mhm.
more engaging. And it really does a great job of finding those words that, you're
Mhm.
lost on at the moment.
For
So,
sure.
yeah.
Agree.
Okay, very cool. So with AI, where do you feel like there's the most use that like the most useful tools?
Um, I think in every field you can actually find a place for it. Specifically, like in tech field, it's something that we are using on daily basis, starting from
Mm-hmm.
like opening a story that is like the request from customer in tech world, where like for example, it's appearing in Jira. Basically, like even starting from the beginning, doing the research, you can easily put some information there to understand like what is generally there in this internet and yeah, find a lot of stuff, a lot of data that can be used later for the research, for creating the request, and also about reports that can be generated based on the data that you are putting there, like the
Mm-hmm.
risk management, quality management, and all that stuff can be done as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Um, when you're talking about problem solving, I think AI also does a great job of that. What other problem solving methods do you use when you're trying to come up with like a great solution to something that just has some people stumped? How do you
Mhm.
how do you engage in problem solving?
Well, I think I wouldn't say it's the method, but I am definitely for still human communication and keeping the team and the discussions within the team. So I think that's very important to still be a team player
Mm-hmm.
and having those dedicated people that you know you can trust and always ask them their opinion and understand like analyze okay what's the AI thinking and this is what people are thinking and you are
Yes.
just combining it and making it all correct.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Yeah, do you feel like there's any validity to the idea that AI is going to surpass humans in terms of like their problem solving ability and, intelligence in the next few years?
Mhm. Well, I think it will naturally happen, definitely. Though at the same time, I think we still will need people to do the work. I'm not saying that like AI is going to overtake everything.
Hmm.
Maybe the majority of the work, but it's still people deciding if this information is good to be used or it still need to be modified, it still need to be personalized, all that stuff.
Hmm.
So maybe more AI will be used, but still people are going to have their work.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, do you guys do hackathons? Is that what HackTech is?
Well, HackTech specifically is a company that is providing engineering services. So what we are doing, we are suggesting people like the customers or big companies to help them with their digital transformation and
Mm.
also helping them to deliver their products, their like the website or generally the application, all that stuff. So what we are doing, we are giving them dedicated teams of product manager, project manager, engineers, QAs, and whole team basically for end-to-end delivery of the product.
Ah, very nice. Okay. So what is the difference between a project, gosh, I'm blanking on this right now, but is it a project manager and a project
Mhm.
developer or something like that? What is a PO and a PM?
So PO is a product owner, which
Uh-huh.
is more like tending to product manager, and
Okay.
PM is a project manager or like the Scrum Master or any other. There are a lot of roles for project manager actually. The difference between them is specifically the directions that they are going. What product manager is doing, they are thinking about the product from the
Uh-huh.
user perspective. They are giving the request. This is what user wants. This is how it should look like. And then project manager is responsible for delivering it with the help of engineering team. So project manager is more like the coordinator during
Uh-huh.
the process and delivering it. And product manager is the person that is at the end accepting the final product and saying, okay, this is what I'm going to sell to the
Okay.
users.
Okay. Okay. So the product owner accepts the project at the end.
Yes, and also
Yes.
from the beginning when there are just the requests like generated from their
Okay.
side.
Okay. So it's interesting because I'm reading a book right now that talks about like high level leadership, right?
Mhm.
CEO versus what they call an integrator. And it sounds like the integrator would be like the project manager and the CEO would be like the product owner. Um,
Yeah.
because it's very similar. Like the product owner is the visionary. They're the ones who come
Mhm.
up with the ideas and like, okay, this is what I want. This is my vision.
Mhm.
And then the project manager is like the integrator, and the integrator is the one who really takes those ideas and says, okay, I'm going to come up with an actionable plan to implement all of this.
Yes, that's a very good explanation of it as well.
Okay. But only because I'm reading this book and I think that this book is it's very insightful. So
Mhm.
it's called Rocket Fuel. And it's been a really interesting read for me because I've always been on the visionary side and I realize that it's a completely different skill set than an integrator. So a visionary and an integrator very few times are the same person at a company. Usually they're very different. And so
Mhm.
by learning about this, I've been able to step away from the integrator role because I've realized that's why it doesn't come natural to me because it's not a natural correlation. So
Yeah.
anyway, so very different types of roles and very different responsibilities and
Mhm.
comfort zones. So very cool.
Agree.
All right. So um, kind of staying in technology. So did you have a lot of guidance and education in technology, or is this just something that you were passionate about and you wanted to learn more?
No, I think it's more about something that I'm passionate about. I'm definitely for self-development and continuous self-development. Specifically, like in tech world, you must learn a lot of stuff continuously. It's not like, okay, I got this certificate and that's it, or like I gained this knowledge and that's it, because the world is moving and you need to reach after this world with like knowing a lot of stuff. And yeah, it's always updating the information. It's always new methodologies. It's always new languages for programming. So I think, yeah, we need to keep on the top of new stuff in order to be good professionals in this field.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you because technology is one of those fields where what you learned 2 years ago may be completely irrelevant now. So you have to constantly be aware of what's coming and how, the technology is changing. So it's
Mhm.
a very rapidly growing industry for sure.
Agree, agree.
So what do you do to keep yourself engaged and constantly learning?
I would like to mention actually what we are doing in HackTech
Uh-huh.
specifically, because I think, yeah, HackTech has a great impact on my career and also on my personal growth as well. So what we are doing are the objectives for every quarter. And of course, every objective has its key results. And we are also separating self-development objectives. When we have like on company level, we are like, okay, we are giving you this amount of money. You can like spend it on some courses or buying books or like, I don't know, taking some lessons. And
Yeah.
that's basically one of the objectives that we have every quarter for our employees. And of course, me including with them. And on these, what we are doing is also follow-ups. So every objective or like the key result is checked by the manager. And yeah, basically you're always asked where you are with the progress, and people are always interested. And we also have like the knowledge sharing sessions when you're also showing the gained knowledge to other people as well.
Yeah, I think that's really important too, is just sharing ideas and collaboration. And you
Mhm,
might have a great idea that somebody else has done a little bit of work or has some expertise on that can really help. So I
mhm,
love that. Was it Google that had that? It was like 20% time or something like that. One of the technology companies did something
mhm,
where they gave their employees a certain amount of time to work on something of their own interest in terms of,
mhm.
work that you thought a new project or a new idea. And so many great things have come out of that. So I
Yeah,
think
we
that
actually have.
constantly doing that.
Agree. Sorry. And we actually have the same in HackTech as well. And
Mhm.
every Friday after 2 or 3 p.m., that's basically like 4, 5 hours that you are just giving to your personal growth. And like if you have any startup on the side with the work, you can do that. And like you can organize discussions with people in the company as well.
Ah, very cool. I love that. Well, and I think that's very much a technology thing, that I think a lot of other organizations, a lot of other industries could definitely benefit from because
Mhm.
that's where great ideas flow is when you have that free thinking time. So
Mhm. For
very
sure.
cool. So, as far as you talk a little bit about in your bio previously that I read a 360 review, and I thought that was really key because I literally just had one done, and I'm curious to know your thoughts on it, and
Mhm.
why a 360 review is important and what a 360 review is.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, so starting from the end of the question, like what is 360? It's
Mm-hmm.
basically the review that is giving you the feedback, but the feedback is not given only from your manager, but also if like you are a manager, it's also given by the people that are reporting to you. So you
Mm-hmm.
have like two sides of the feedback about you. Plus, you're also doing your own review, which is like you are sharing your opinion about the work that you did during the year or like during specific period of time. And why I think that it's sorry, why I think that it's very important is because it's helping you to get the feedback, even though like we, for example, are having one-on-ones weekly or bi-weekly
Yeah.
in our company, but still like the discussion that you have on one-on-ones can be very personal, and like you don't even need to touch like the work stuff if it doesn't need to be there.
Uh-huh.
But with 360 reviews, it's the feedback that you're like you're getting from people that you are working with, and you can improve. And that's main goal of this review, right? So you need to get that feedback to understand, okay, this is the part that I need to improve, and this is where I did well as well. So it's not only about blaming or like pointing out the improvement part, but it's also about the appreciation that you are giving about the work that was done during that time.
Absolutely. I think they're so valuable because, it's one thing to get a review from your manager, but having your employees review you is really important because you want to make sure that your leadership concepts are coming through to them properly. If I think I'm just a leader who is let's just say I think I'm engaging with all of my staff, and then they feel disconnected from me, then that's something that that's their truth and their reality. So it's really important to pay attention to that, like what is the disconnect. And so it helps you
Mhm.
kind of deep dive into how to be a better leader and a better manager.
Mhm.
And of course, a review from an employer or manager, that's important, but I think the more important thing is the review from your staff. So
Mhm.
I
For
think that's
sure.
very, very good feedback for anyone to have. And I think a lot of managers are kind of scared of it. They're afraid to
Yeah,
know.
yeah, that's not the like the most pleasant discussion that
Yeah.
you could have. But I think by keeping the transparency, and I think that's the main point also during these reviews, that you should be very transparent. You shouldn't be
Mhm.
afraid of like giving the feedback or getting the feedback. And one of actually HackTech values is transparency, one of the 5 values. And I think it's this month actually that is also like the transparency month for
Uh-huh.
us. And we have different sessions in the company that is done by our HR team. And yeah, I think that's very important to be transparent and be sure that the feedback can be accepted from the
Mhm.
person that is in front of you.
Absolutely. Yeah, so important. And it also tells your employees that you're trying to do better and you're trying to learn. And, by leading by example and saying, I want to do better, it makes them want to do better as well.
Yeah.
So, very nice. So, who inspires you?
Um, I have different people that are inspiring me, but I definitely am always mentioning my son and my
Mhm.
husband, that are not only inspiring but also motivating and pushing me
Yeah.
forward to achieve new goals, and like to look on them and seeing their happy faces. That means a lot for me. And specifically now when my son turned 6, so he is kind of like already a little grown
Mhm.
man for
Uh-huh.
me. And yeah, seeing him being proud of mom, and seeing him being interested in stuff that mom is doing, and starting to understand what's going on in this world, I think that's a lot of motivation for me, seeing generally like his interest and being
Yeah.
inspired to achieve more.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love every phase that my son went through. So he's 17 now, but every single phase, like from when he was an infant until he was in kindergarten to,
Yeah.
it's like every phase is so special and it goes too fast, but at the same time, you have to just learn. But when he was starting to transition into like making his own decisions, and
Mhm.
it was a very cute thing to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I love that. So as women, we give our power away all the time, whether it's, with criticism or, just not stepping into our power, not, giving somebody else credit for work that we did. So is there a time that you gave away your power and then another time that you stepped into your power?
Well, I think it's not about giving away, but more about to say the compromisation that
Uh-huh.
sometimes there should be actually. There were definitely times that when we came to compromisation and I stepped back to see people like how they will handle the issue, for example, and specifically being a leader and a manager, that's something that you should do quite frequently, not to like, not that it's not your responsibility, it can still be your responsibility, but you need to give a chance to other people to grow as well as you were given at
Yeah.
some point of time. So I think it's just about like stepping back to see other people work and to see how they will give a solution to some problems,
Yeah.
to make them learn on the mistakes that they will do, or like also on the right path that they will decide to handle the issue. So I think that's very frequently done work for me. I wouldn't separate specific occasion that I step back, but generally as a leader, as a manager, I think it's something that we need to keep in our mind when agreeing to be a manager, just to be ready to step back and to see other people doing the stuff that like you can do as well, but still they need to learn. So
Very nice. Yeah, that's great. It's great feedback. So talk to me a little bit about what you've learned. Like, what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self?
mhm. I think it will be more about not taking stuff personally, and
Uh-huh.
specifically being like, I think it's majority of women are very emotional, and I'm
Uh-huh.
one of them. So I think not taking stuff personally is very important, specifically when you want to grow in like a professional field. You should separate like stuff that, okay, this is just work, that's fine, we can fail, we can then fix stuff, but just not taking stuff personally is very important. And I'm saying it from my own experience, because at the beginning I was taking a lot of stuff very personally, and I was like,
Uh-huh.
no, they don't like me, they are very concentrated on like what I said, the words, blah blah blah. And now I'm like, okay, I just shouldn't be like that. Why I took everything so personally? It was just work. It was just like the responsibilities that were on me. And
Yeah.
yeah, just
Yeah.
to separate that stuff, I think that's very important. And besides like giving that advice to myself, I'm always reminding that
Yeah.
I still
Yeah.
didn't change. I'm still very emotional, and I'm always reminding me not to take stuff personally. And also I would say the work-life balance. There are very good books written about this, and a lot of people are speaking about work-life balance. And I think that's very important. At the beginning, I was like, yeah, that's fine. I will just like, I don't know, do a lot of stuff around my work. I will achieve this. And then I watched back and I saw like, I don't know, my personal life was already not so good. And also I missed some parts of my son's going to kindergarten or all
Yeah.
that stuff. And that's like, that made me feel very not happy.
Yeah.
And, and there's a time when I understood that also it's about the work-life balance. Still now, I think that people that will watch this video and this podcast, they will think, yeah, Mariam, you are so good in speaking, but they are always like, we see you when you are like doing work during like 2 a.m. and all that stuff. But I'm like, I still try, it's about
Yeah.
improvement, as I said. So definitely also work-life balance is very important.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. It's really hard. Like I'm a single mom, and so for a long time I was adamant that I wanted to be here when he would get off school. And
Mhm.
so I wanted to be home when he got off the bus from school in elementary school. So I would try to make it home and I would be here, or I'd work from home so that I could be here when he got off the bus at school. But then he'd go to bed at like 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night, and then I would start working again. So
Yeah.
I would just, I would just continue to work for the next several hours and then be really,
Mhm.
really tired when I get up in the morning. And so
Mhm.
I didn't have balance. I tried to just do too many things at once. I didn't want to miss out on anything. So
Yeah.
I think that's normal though. I don't know. It was normal for me.
No, I think it's still normal. I mean, like, as I mentioned, I think people that will watch this podcast, they will say, yeah, Mariam is not the best example for work-life balance or all that stuff. But I'm still the person that is reminding that, and even to myself, that sometimes you just need to take the time to understand your priorities and just make like little, I don't know, organizing stuff, or like prioritizing or scheduling, even though
Hmm.
if it is about weekend, but you still are prepared for that weekend to spend with your family,
Hmm.
because you did the prioritization during the work day, like to handle everything, to manage to do stuff. So you still have that free time and you are feeling good, and you are like not thinking about all the stuff that you didn't manage to do during the week.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100% agree. So I've really enjoyed our time. Is there, um, what do you wish more people knew?
I'm I think I wish people and specifically women to know about the life and about the importances that there should be in your life, and put some goals, because even though like we are running the work, the family, all that stuff, and specifically now with the time just running in front of us. Me personally, I don't know like how we reached to 2024,
I
frankly
know.
speaking. I'm still in 2022
I
myself. So
know.
I think it's about the goals that will help us at least to track the time a bit more. So I would definitely suggest people to concentrate and to know better their goals, and to set goals for a year at least, and then to be happy with the goals that were achieved.
Hmm.
And yeah, so
Very
always
nice.
remember about the goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Miriam. I've really enjoyed our conversation today. Do you have anything else that you want anyone to know?
Well, I think it was a lovely discussion. Thank you too. And
Yeah,
I think we went through a lot of
yeah.
topics. So
So how can people find you?
I'm very active in LinkedIn.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they can definitely reach me out there.
Okay. And you can also find Miriam on prettypowerfulpodcast.com. So thank you again, Miriam. I've really enjoyed it, and I wish
Thank
you
you.
so much success.
Thank you. Thank you
All
too.
right. Everybody, have an amazing day.
Thank you for joining our guests on the Pretty Powerful Podcast. And we hope you've gained new insight and learned from exceptional women. Remember to subscribe or check out this and all episodes on prettypowerfulpodcast.com. Visit us next time, and until then, step into your own power.